All right, bro, you're in the hot seat. You know, you were playing rugby internationally. You were you found it easy to get girls, and it's what most guys are aiming for. Why would you leave that behind?
Yeah, I guess in terms of playing rugby, you get a bit more attention from women, and it's not all jacked up to be what it is. Like people think that is the lifestyle to aim for, and that's the greatest thing to do, but it's not what it seems to be. Because I've experienced it, and having the opportunity to get different women and stuff like that. At the end of the day, I was just sleeping with this person and that person and just cheating on everyone, because it didn't really matter because you could have so many choices. And that caused me a lot of drama. I was, like we were talking about earlier, you get caught up in so much drama that half of your life is spent trying to lie your way out of situations, lying to this person to try and stop them from being hurt, or so you could continue to stay with them. When I knew I was a scoundrel. Really, I knew I wasn't a good guy. When I looked deep into it,
Bro, wasn't it though that like I'm thinking of songs like Pimp, P-I-M-P, I'm a player, like it was I'm a flirt. Like that was the ideal. It was like, man, this is living the life.
Bro, I thought it was the ideal. It's a joke, man. Like it's a big joke because, even those guys have so many issues, and even when they get older, they can't even hold down a relationship. But I don't know why it's portrayed to be the thing, because in reality, it's not the thing to be doing, because it's not happiness. It's far from happiness, because you're just lying your way out of every situation, and you're always having to change someone new. You know what I mean? Because no one wants you after you do the dirty on them. So it's not what it's jacked up to be. And playing rugby as well, it was like I was trying to find what is my purpose in life. As a kid, you're growing up and you're like, oh, I want to be a fireman or a policeman or whatever. So I had to try and find what is it for me that is something that I'm going to be able to pursue in life and find happiness in. And, I found it through sports, and I thought it was in rugby. So that's what I went for, and that just comes with that lifestyle. But it's not until, I came to Christ, and I found out who God was. And, even when I first started delving into it a little bit, dipping my toes and seeing who Jesus was, same experience like you, I thought, oh, I'm going to have to be giving up, sleeping around with women and chasing after these pursuits. And it was like, it didn't look attractive,
And
so
just to sit in church and listen to
exactly. I'm like, that's boring, man. Like I want the other lifestyle, even though I had been experiencing the other lifestyle already and it wasn't that great. So yeah, I sort of was dipping in and out, looking into it. But it's not until I saw who Jesus really was and the sort of guy that he was. And I'm like, man, I've been trying to find my identity and replicate famous people who actually had terrible characteristics. Really, like the traits of the people I looked up to were just terrible. And I'm like, that's what I was aiming to be. And then when you see Jesus in the contrast of those people, It's like, man, he's a completely different person. And it's like, that's what a real man is, Bro. And as a young guy growing up, you're trying to find your manhood, your identity, as we've spoken about before. And it's like, you see Jesus, who he really is. And then I had to examine myself, and it's like, man, when I put myself next to Christ, man, I'm a bad guy, know. And it's like, if you ask anyone in the world today, they're like, I think I'm pretty good, Everyone's like, I'm not a bad person. I didn't murder or steal or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, I couldn't even say that I was a good guy when I looked at Christ, because the way that I was treating people, the way that I was lying, the way that I was self-absorbed, it's like, man, those are terrible characteristics. Bro, and you have to be real with yourself,
That's deep, bro.
You have to be real with yourself. And all those experiences in the past, because many, women's hearts that I would have broken and, I treated like absolute garbage. And it's like, I can't even go back to them and apologize, because they're so far in the past. But you don't even know what sort of impact you had on their life, and what that could have caused for them with relationships in the future and stuff like that. And it's like, I carry this guilt, you carry this guilt around, and you're like, what can I do? Because I can't go back and get forgiveness. And it's like, man, you carry it around with you and you feel bad for it, And then coming to Christ, I realized, even though I'm such a bad guy, like I can come to Christ and he can forgive me for those things that other people won't. And it's like, even if people looked at me still as like a downright bad guy, you know. It's like I can be a new person in Christ.
Totally.
And I can be forgiven, and I was able to let go of that guilt, you know, and
Bro, that's deep.
and just change my life. And it's like, even then I realized, you know, I was doing things against people, but I was also doing things against God, you know, when I was doing that stuff as well.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I'm just so sorry, you know. It was like a wave that just hits you.
Bro,
you know,
this is
and,
deep.
And it just completely changed my mindset and the way that I looked at people, and the way that my life was. And now, yeah, I'm not playing rugby. You know, I'm not sleeping around with heaps of women.
So aren't you just bored, bro?
And that's what I'm going to say. Everyone's going
life
to be
is
like,
so
man,
boring."
that's so boring, man. It's like, what are you doing? You're a loser. Why would you give that up? And it's like, my life now, I just have peace, you know. Like, I have peace. I'm not getting caught in dramatic situations or lying to everyone, having people turn against me and become enemies, because that's what it was like. And it's like, man, this is a life that I hadn't experienced before. And it's nothing like the old one. So, like, giving that up, it's totally worth it, you know.
Yeah.
Because I'm just so much more happy in the life that I am now, and I look at people completely different.
Bro, I'm just going to add this because, you know, obviously you go from sleeping around to not having sex with your girlfriend for 5 years, waiting till you get married. What's wrong with you, man? No, honestly.
Maybe I'm asexual.
I mean, how do you get from that to choosing not to be intimate with the woman till you get married? Because that is almost like unimaginable, especially in terms of where do you get your fun from?
Bro, to be honest, it was hard, man. Like, it was tough because it was normal, you know, to do that. And now I find my fun, you know, just spending time together. You know, we go on dates. We have regular things that we do every week and make sure we spend intimate time together. And, you know, like I've said in other videos, it's the best relationship that I've had compared to other ones. And I don't feel like I'm lacking anything because I'm not having sex, you know, because that was dramatic part of my life. And I'm not having those dramas anymore. And I know that, you know, I can have a clear conscience about it, that, you know, it's just me and her.
Yeah.
It's not me and 2 or 3 other women as well. And
I'm
trying to cover every track, you know, because I don't want to get caught. It's not like that anymore. And it's just so, yeah, it's liberating to have that, you know.
Totally.
And, yeah, obviously I do have urges to have sex, man. Like I'm not, I didn't change, you know.
Stoic.
Yeah, I'm stoic, man. I don't do that anymore. But yeah, I have urges like everyone else. But I know that it's going to be a lot more special, you know, in the realms of marriage.
Yeah.
So it's something to look forward to, man.
That's deep, bro.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome, man.
How long was...